It is the Glenfarclas handicap chase, the cross-country chase, here closing our live coverage from Cheltenham this afternoon. It's £40,000. We gave you the early non-runner, was number 4, King John's Castle. The fences are legion, 15 go.
Yeah, lots of lads really enjoy this race. Not sure whether the commentators do. It's a little bit twisty and turny, but it holds plenty of interest for people in the horse world. It's a sort of cross between 3-day event riding, team chasing and national hunt racing. And old Garde Champetre, we showed a clip of him earlier in the week, and he looked like a 2-year-old coming in to have a roll, but he's not. He's one of a couple of 12-year-olds in this race, but the older horse, a year older, is a new story, who won this last year. But Garde Champetre already won this race twice. Lami's been a really good horse all the way round, a 9-1 right through his career. Colibet, we haven't seen him run over here, but his form figures don't read too inspiring for Alan Berry. He's tipped up a couple of times. King John's Castle doesn't run, and Gullible Gordon, we haven't seen him. He looked all right, actually. I watched him win a race at Wincanton, but then he tipped up round 80 around the big fences. He's got Harry Skelton on board.
Ted, 4 of these are Irish.
Yeah, new story. He won this race last year, and he ran a cracker at Naas last week. He has definitely got a big shout and good value, 12-1. Dream Alliance, Sizing Australia, Harry Henry de Bramhead's horse. He's always runs well around here. Just don't know if he gets home over 3-7. Freeney's well, probably the outsider of Enda's bunch. Has won around Punchestown, looks a picture, bound to run a good old race. And Wood Cool Cookie, he's a classy horse of Charlie Swans and Davy Russell. Davy's won it before for Philip Rothwell, I think, or maybe Freddie Murphy, but he's going to run well. Old Poker Zavola, he's Katie rides him, won the 4 mile here last year.
Quaisac de la Roque, representing Francois-Marie Cottin, ridden by the French champion David Cottin. He's got some pretty good form, and it'll be interesting to see how they get on here. Yeah,
Oscar Bay jumps well enough. Good spin for Jimmy Frost's son, Haddon Frost, who sadly lost the ride on Summersby, but he's a 25-1 shot. And David Nagel trains Lord Nellery, one that needs to improve a bit.
Yeah, great looking horse. She's given her some great spins around Punchestown over the bank. She'll get a good ride off from here again. And 15 is another jewel, ridden by the dentist John Cullen. He's won in France, and he's been second in France, and but didn't run great the last time.
And finally, Maljimar just gets in at the bottom here. Daryl Jacob having a good ride round on Rev de Civilev earlier in the 3-mile chase. He's got a decent chance. He's 9-2 favourite now. Run a cracker. He just got touched off this meeting last year.
Support for this Maljimar into 9-2 favourite. Horse being back, Poker de Savola, 14-1 this morning, is now an 8-1 chance here. The amazing Garde Champetre, 5 of 9 it's won here over the cross country. Won this race twice, back from 6-1 into 5-1 now. Garde Champetre, 12-1 against New Story, who won it last year. And support for Sizing Australia, 8-1 this morning, 30-2 on the course, the Australian female.
Maljimar was tipped up on many Cheltenham Festival preview nights, long before it appeared as price-wise in the Racing Post today, Maljimar. So no wonder he's been backed into favouritism. Weak on the market is Lamy, a big drifter Lamy. Mac, you've mentioned Poker de Savola, money for him, 12s into around 8-1 Sizing Australia pos, but Maljimar.
The horse is down at the start. As I said earlier, there are loads of people out on the course wanting to see this really great spectacle. The jockeys can't wait to get going either. I suppose if you were going to do a percentage bet, the thing to do would be to say something in green and yellow colours could possibly win. But which one? They're all looking very calm, cool and collected. The grey there looks particularly well, Qualibet, taking it all very nicely. But as we've heard from Enda Bolger, he still wants good old 12-year-old Garde Champetre to do the business.
Couple of pieces of housekeeping. Chalk Thornton's got a 1-day ban for using his whip with too much frequency on Medamit in the Arkle. And Barry Geraghty a 1-day ban for his ride on Carroll's Legacy, causing interference, the winner Bensalem. Well, Simon is, pretty routine, all this easy round the outside stuff, but even he has to think a bit as they wiggle and squiggle round Cheltenham's inner course over all these obstacles, but he'll sort it for you.
It's tough for the jockeys to find their way round. Sat-navs, maps and compasses at the ready as they jump the first in this Glenfarclas handicap chase, and it's Lord Nellery that's the early leader from in the blue cap on the green and yellow hoops. is Franey's Well. JP McManus with 4 runners in this. We're trying to pick them out on the way round. Quaysac de la Roque is handy on the inside of Sizing Australia as they took the next. A New Story, last year's winner, in a noseband in about 5th or 6th place at the moment. Garde Champetre being held up towards the rear. Lord Nellery landing over that as they continue now uphill towards the Aintree fence. A sharp left-hand turn after this. Lord Nellery the leader, Sizing Australia on the outside of Franey's Well. A New Story, Dream Alliance close up, then Quaysac de la Roque. So they move out, angling across to take this turn, as they would do so at the Canal turn during the Grand National. So swinging left-handed, and now on downhill towards number 5. Lord Nellery over in front from Sizing Australia. Franey's Well and Garde Champetre. Nina Carberry was thrown forward there on the right in the green and yellow quartered cap. Just wasn't the best effort by Garde Champetre as they jumped the next. The early back marker, Polka de Sibler. Maljimar in the orange jacket, second last at the moment, held up at the rear of the field by Daryl Jacob as they clear the next. Maljimar, of course, the horse that was nailed by Wichita linemen on this day a couple of years ago. What an incredible finish that was. Maljimar had it won until the very last strides, and Tony McCoy grabbed the spoils in the last strides. They clear the timber rails, and on the far side of the course now, with Lord Nellery leading from Sizing Australia and Franey's Well and A New Story, and then behind them Quaysac de la Roque, and then followed by Gullible Gordon with Lammy, the grey Qualibay over that hedge, followed by One Cool Cookie, then Garde Champetre, another Jewel, Dream Alliance towards the rear of the field at the moment. They're getting quite well strung out. And at the back, Polka de Sibler is still the back marker. On to the 11th. It's got a little bit of a drop on the landing side. And over that one, Lord Nellery then from Sizing Australia, yellow sleeves, red cap. And now a right-hand turn, followed by Franey's Well. Then A New Story, Qualibay on the outside from Lammy as they clear this one from Gullible Gordon. Then One Cool Cookie. Further back is Oscar Bay. Maljimar still towards the rear of the field with Dream Alliance. Polka de Sibler slightly detached. And Garde Champetre remains in the second half of the field. They take the bank for the first time. Lord Nellery landed just ahead of Franey's Well and Sizing Australia. Now down towards the water jump, the most popular fence from a spectator's point of view. This fence surrounded by spectators. Lord Nellery and Sizing Australia from Franey's Well. Polka de Sibler struggling to keep up a bit at the back, the winner of the 4-miler last year. Now to the cheese wedges. This is up, down, up again, and down the other side. And Lord Nellery from in second, Sizing Australia. Then Franey's Well, followed by Quaysac de la Roque and A New Story as they jump the cheese. And one has run out there, and that is One Cool Cookie. One Cool Cookie is out of the race. Polka de Sibler remains at the back as they now head on to their second circuit, a slightly smaller figure of 8. Lord Nellery from Sizing Australia. Franey's Well is third, A New Story in fourth. Then Quaysac de la Roque and Lammy, followed by Qualibay. Then Gullible Gordon, Garde Champetre, another Jewel. Maljimar was a bit slow there, outjumped by Dream Alliance. Oscar Bay is being pushed along, and finally Polka de Sibler. They're now going to take the bank, but in a different direction to the first circuit, and it's still Lord Nellery, a real pro on these cross-country courses. Lord Nellery, who lands ahead of Sizing Australia, who's another regular in this. A lot of the usual suspects in this race. Franey's Well back in third. Quaysac de la Roque, the French raider, in fourth under David Cotin, followed by A New Story and Qualibay, and then Lammy, another Jewel. Garde Champetre still buried away towards the back of the field by Nina Carberry as they jump the next. Gullible Gordon getting a little bit closer perhaps, then Dream Alliance towards the back. Maljimar round the inside round that turn. Oscar Bay and Polka de Sibler at the back. On now to fence number 20 as they go towards this, 20 of 32. And Lord Nellery, a bit of a sharp right-hand turn there. Lord Nellery a little wide from Sizing Australia. And then Franey's Well. These have been the first three practically all the way as they run slightly downhill to the next ditch now. Quaysac de la Roque in the orange jacket. Then A New Story jumping now now in the blue sleeves. Lamy just a slightly awkward landing. Another duel getting a bit closer. Maljimar in the orange colours on the inside, on the near side, well in touch now. Garde Champetre is wider out. Still Oscar Bay and Poker de Sevilla at the back of the field. And while it's being pulled out, it looks like Lamy. And Qualibay has gone as well. Qualibay has been pulled up and Lamy has been pulled up as well. Over the water jump, sizing Australia and Lord Nellery as they make the turn back in front of the stands and onto the double spread hedge, and then the final circuit, which is a more of an oval, and Lord Nellery sizing Australia. Quaysac de la Roque has moved nicely on the inside there in third place, followed by Franey's Well, then Gullible Gordon, the red jacket noseband, Maljimar, a new story. After these is another Jewel and Dream Alliance, then Garde Champetre from Poker de Sevilla and Oscar Bay, and those are the only ones left in it. And now they're running slightly uphill towards the next. This is fence number 25 coming up. They're racing uphill for the next three fences back towards the Aintree fence. Then they'll swing sharply left-handed again. And it's sizing Australia, Lord Nellery, Quaysac de la Roque, Maljimar right into it, coming there with every stride under Daryl Jacob from Gullible Gordon. Then a new story, Franey's Well, another Jewel taking this. Garde Champetre took that in 2-4-6-8, 9th place. Dream Alliance is pushed along, the past Welsh National winner. Poker de Sevilla is beginning to run on from the back. Blue jacket at the back of that leading bunch as Oscar Bay tails off now. And here's the Aintree fence, 6 left to jump here. Sizing Australia on the inside of Lord Nellery. Quaysac de la Roque right round the inside from Maljimar and Gullible Gordon. Garde Champetre is being asked to try and close now by Nina Carberry as they jump the next, racing downhill across the centre of the racecourse. Poker de Sevilla still trying to run on from the back. Sizing Australia the leader, but Maljimar full of running in second place. Can he avenge that narrow defeat at this meeting 2 years ago as they jump the next? That was 3 out, and Maljimar has strolled into the lead from Sizing Australia. Then Quaysac de la Roque in third place as they round this left-hander. 2 hurdles to take. Garde Champetre is chasing them. Then Lord Nellery and last year's winner, a new story on the outside. This is the second last. Maljimar and Sizing Australia together from Quaysac de la Roque, racing a little wider out, a new story. Garde Champetre is running a terrific race again under a big weight in 5th place and well in touch, turning for home under pressure. They race towards the final fence and it's Sizing Australia and Maljimar. And here's Garde Champetre with his normal strong late challenge under Nina Carberry. A new story in Quaysac de la Roque. Here now is the final obstacle. Sizing Australia from Maljimar. Garde Champetre back in third. Then Quaysac de la Roque and a new story. Sizing Australia shifting over to the stand side. Garde Champetre is trying very hard in second, but Sizing Australia has it from Garde Champetre. Tight third, a new story on the far side of Maljimar, who didn't quite get home. Then Quaysac de la Roque, a gap to Poker de Sevilla, another Jewel, then Dream Alliance, Gullible Gordon, Lord Nellery, and probably the last to finish was Franey's Well. So Sizing Australia has landed the spoils, only 11th in this race last year, but got very badly hampered that day and couldn't recover. He's been a regular in these races. Andrew Lynch doing the steering, clinging on well from Garde Champetre.
Andrew, you had no luck last year in the race. You finished 11th, but my gosh, you had the run today.
Yeah, last year we were just unlucky. We were knocked down turning in, but he's very ghosty, the horse. Every time he run here, apart from last year, he was placed, and he's still only a young horse compared to Bulger's horses. But he done it well today.
He gave you some ride round there, didn't he?
He's savage round here. Jumps for fun.
Listen, very well done.
Thanks very much.
All 7 now, these Glenfarclas cross country, have gone to Ireland. Sizing Australia wins at 13-2 and well back to do so. 8-1 with Bet365 this morning. The runner-up was the top one, Garde Champetre, brilliant again, hero of the cross country, the 5-1 second favourite. A new story, last year's winner was third at 12-1. You won't get paid each way. The fourth, that's Maljimar, because King John's Castle was a non-runner, 15 ran. Maljimar was fourth, the 9-2 favourite, but Sizing Australia wins it. Ireland dominate yet again in the Glenfarclas.